Yo, 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 what's happening? Shout out to my Cosmic P pushers. Today we finna get into how to develop spiritual intelligence. What is the mind of God? How does God think? How can you get into the mind of God? Or is it some shit you can't get into? Today we're gonna get into that. So if we get to understanding the mind of God, right? Or what's the mind of God? Is there a way that you're thinking that's outside the mind of God? Is more so what we're gonna get into. And this is spiritual intelligence and how we're gonna bring this spiritual intelligence into fruition. That's just a title, but we're gonna get into it and it's gonna all lead up into that. So shout out to all my Cosmic P pushers who always standing on motherfucking principle. Remember, as long as you standing on principle, it don't matter what the fuck happened to you. We good. So we finna get into the show in just a second, though. Yes, sir. Peace. So the intro when you play out like a nigga wanted me to. Nigga get more into that though, right? So what brought me to this point, right? What brought me to this point is the fact that in occultism, period, what brought me around is the fact my fascination with the mind. AZW, peace. Always standing on motherfucking principle. So what brought me into this whole faction is the mind, right? Let's make sure we live on Instagram so people can eventually bring their ass over to YouTube. So was my fascination with the mind, right? So if we dealing with the mind, I always wonder why we do things, how we do things. Why would I choose this over this? Why would a person choose this belief over this belief? Like, what's the difference? Like, why is it like that? What's up with the mind is my question. And fuck it, where are we going right now as a race of people, as a species, as a planet, as Malkuth level consciousness? Where is this thing heading? Is it evolving or is it devolving? With all the things that's going on around the world, what the fuck is it? You see what I'm saying? So, and I just popped up and said, fuck it, let me pull a card. When I pull a card, the world card shows up, right? Or the universe card, right? You can see four elementals and a fifth in the middle if you want to. And you see how they're emanating from something, like almost like a clouded type of substance, right? Almost like an etheric type of substance, right? Then you have something that looks like a reef or a snake biting into itself, right? But this world card also represents the 32nd path. Hasaja, a peace, a peace, a peace, I love. Peace, peace to you and yours. What is it? This 32nd path, we went over it, right? We didn't read and we got through and understanding that like that's one of the hardest journeys as far as evolving spiritual intelligence, right? And we read from Gareth Knight's book, Dealing with the Paths, dealing with the 32 paths, and we just read that first one, right? Because that's what majority of us either are or all of us had to start, so it didn't matter, it can cover all grounds, right? So and that's consciousness coming from Mount Kuf level consciousness on up to your side, the illusionary, the storehouse of images level of consciousness, right? And that's something key that we want to keep in mind, right? Because when you're dealing with Mount Kuf consciousness, it's a complexity of all the Sephira, right? Everybody over here knows about the tree of life already, so all the Sephira is all conjoined into this one. And remember, we also have to remember this, that these Sephira, even though we may, for us to be able to conceptualize these Sephiras, right? We have to understand that it's still one. It's not even separate. It's just different functions of the one. This is cosmic P. You got to understand everything inside those sephiras are different functions of the one, or different variations of the one, right? So what does that mean about us? So what does that mean about earth consciousness when people talk about, oh, you know what I'm saying? He caught up in worldly this and worldly that. Even though the person is caught up in worldly shit, are they not still interacting with something divine? Especially if we know Kether is Malkuth on the lower arc. And then we also know how it's been put. Malkuth is a Kether to another tree. What am I saying here? This is key what I'm saying here. This is not just cool shit to be saying. This is key what I'm saying. If you here, hit the like button, drop a S.O.P in the chat. Let's see what's happening on Instagram. Instagram, bring y'all ass to YouTube. Because this is how you achieve the mind of God. This is how you achieve the realization or the how to develop spiritual intelligence. It's not that well, it is hard, but it can be done. You already have the capacity for it. For the simple fact that you incarnated, you have the capacity for it. For the simple fact that you can click on a YouTube video like this, you have the capacity for it. And that's not nothing to just blow smoke up your ass. That's some shit to really ponder on. You have the capacity to be able to build up this level of confidence and competence in the way and the structure of the mind of God. What's the first law of Tahuti or the universe? The all is mind. Remember, we used to say the mind is all, but the all is mind. That's a difference. See, when we read some shit we get in today, we understand that all is Brahman, all is God. There ain't no separation. Because when you start separating, you start to create a enemy. So if there's a God, there has to be a devil. There has to be an evil archon. There has to be a Illuminati. There has to be a or whatever. But once you get to understanding once you step outside of that human level, peace, sunshine chick, S.O.P. Once you step outside of that, damn, it disappeared. Once you step outside of that human, that normal animalistic nature of thinking, right? Pure instincts. Something's out to get me, I gotta survive. Something's out to get me, I gotta survive. Something's out to get me, I gotta survive. Sometimes we even turn it internal, right? I remember adapting the methodology of that I'm my own enemy. I don't say no shit like that no more. I've got a better understanding of this. Listen, dealing with your psyche is the spiritual intelligence. I'm just going to keep it flat the fuck out, like period, point blank, period. Dealing with your psyche is how you develop spiritual intelligence. This is how you get to tap into the mind of God. All is mind. Not the mind is all. Remember, we corrected that. We understand that. The all is mind. So that means everything is mind. Everything is what we call this. This is the mind of God. This here, the tree is the mind of God. This is studying the mind of God. Obviously, anomalies and all this type of shit happen, but it's still nothing new. It may be presented in a different way because, like, if we go and get to understanding how things come out of the manifest, everything that just exists in a potential state. Then eventually they come down to us and they look like something new. So iPhone looks like something new to you, right? A vape looks like something new versus motherfuckers who grew up and only seen cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? My cucumber, apple, watermelon, ginger juice may look like new to some motherfuckers. This may look new to some motherfuckers, but it's always existed in a potential state. This is factions that we have to get understood when we tapping into these higher levels of consciousness. This shit ain't new. Like I said the other day, like we are all building up upon what the ones who came before us had laid down with principle, right? So we have new ways of attaching methodology, or we have new ways of giving it a definition, which is ego, right? Giving it a definition, giving it, identifying it, right? But we're gonna get into that today. Now, this is kind of a mix up with some shit that I had been wanting to do, because in it's hard for people to be able to accept certain shit in a so-called spiritual community, right? It's hard for people to be able to accept different terminologies, um, or different things that may be coming into manifestation. And I'm gonna play a clip from. Hopefully, they don't fuck with me, but I'm gonna play a couple clips. Honestly, to be quite honest, play a couple clips from, if y'all heard of him, Terrence McKenna. He said a lot of shit. I'm just not hearing about the guy, but he said a lot of shit that a nigga been saying for a while. It's like, damn, okay. So I ain't the only, I know I'm obviously not the only one thinking this, because no ideas are our own, right? We should understand that. We reach up and grab ideas and then pull them down. You know what I'm saying? So we understand that. But Terrence McKenna was saying some shit that's like, okay, that's on alignment with the type of shit that I've been thinking. And I know it goes against so-called normal spiritual group thinking, but we developing our spiritual intelligence. We developing more into the mind of what God is. So we won't allow ourselves to be stuck in this low level of understanding. Nonetheless, it's interacting with something divine, but it can be a low level of understanding, right? So first, we brought up the world card, right? Because I pulled that and I'm like, okay, let's see, like, you know what I'm saying? Let's get some energy behind, like, okay, let's tap into and see what the fuck they say in the Kabbalistic, the Kabbalistic Tarot by Robert Wayne. Just a little short slip or something. It says, understanding of the more understanding of the more refined universal patterns is based on what we learn on this earth. Remember, patterns. We're going to get into patterns later on, because we're going to get to dealing with self development, how to develop your spiritual intelligence. It's all dealing with the fucking psyche. It's all dealing with the psyche. All right. In recognizing patterns. That's what all spiritualists or occultists or whatever the fuck we want to call ourselves, that's what we doing. We identifying patterns. And what are patterns? Patterns are repetitions of actions. Not a reputable, but something that's being done on a repetitious level to the point where it creates its own pattern, where it creates its own signature, might I say. In what are human beings? Nothing but patterns. We are patterns. Everybody has an arm, a leg, five. Not everybody, but the basic physiology structure of a human being. The basic psychological structure of a human being is a pattern. The basic underlying principle of how we reproduce is a pattern. Language is a pattern. Everything about us is a pattern. Let's get into it though. Rev 636, peace. S.O. motherfucking P, dog. Understanding of the more refined universal patterns is based on what we learn on this earth. It is with the earth that serious esoteric work begins and ends, as long as our divine consciousness is functioning with a physical vehicle. All right. The path of Tao, the universe, joins Malkuth, the earth, with Yesod, the foundation. It is the first path out of the material condition and leads towards an understanding of the personality forged by the higher self of Tiphareth for each incarnation. Some writers have described this path as a heaven or a nirvana, meaning that here one experiences the consciousness of the greater universe, experiences the consciousness of the greater universe, and ultimate reality by comparison with our sensory condition. Listen, Everything you're doing is being compared with our senses, our five senses. That's what's I'm gonna get to that. All right. We understand that our experience of the completed universal pattern below tells us something about the creator above. Why did I read that? Because we're talking about the mind of God. So your experience here is going to be a direct reflection of the mind of God and what God is observing, because we're going to say observe versus experiencing. Because we're going to get into more details, which we pretty sure we over here have heard, but some people may have not. The experience that we're experiencing down here is God experiencing what it's experiencing down here, but God does not experience it direct. We don't experience direct as well. This is what I'm saying. This is as above, so below shit here. We don't experience this mundane existence in reality directly. Everything is subjective. Everything is subjective. This brings me into the understanding the mind and awareness. The mind would be the higher self, the Tifereth, right? And everything in its factions. What do we got? We got the Buddhi, the higher self, Tifereth, and then we got the Amkara, the ego, right? Which is doing all the identifying. Then we got the Shita, right? The memory, which I think goes along with what we call the Akashic records. And I also want to say this, and I know people may not want to hear it, but I also, because everything is getting more complex. That's what we're going to bring up with some of this Terrence McKenna shit. That's what he was talking about. And this is what I've been thinking. Like, everything is getting more complex. You know my motto, right? My thing is, like, once you get to seeing it's nothing that I came up with, right? Because if you look at the Kali Yugas break this down as well. Before we get to, the Kali Yugas, the Yugas, once you get to moving through different Yugas, they have a ascending and a descending period. So Kali Yuga had an ascending period, and I was having a descending period into the age of the Dwapara Yuga. And that's kind of counter what everybody else saying. We're going into the Sattva Yuga or something like that, the golden age. I read something different that made me think about it's called the Holy Science. If anybody has read the Holy Science, I forgot about the name of the Swami who wrote it, and he talked about how the yugas being calculated have been kind of off a couple thousand years based off of the people that ruled during a certain time, and they were incompetent. So I'm going to get into that whole Akashic record thing and why I say everything is getting more complex. Pay attention to the planet, pay attention to the world and what's going on around. Everything is getting more complex. Everybody's having extreme ideologies. Everything is going into the extremes. This is what we got to pay attention to. What we just say, we got to understanding of the more you're refined universal patterns. This is the first path. This is the 32nd path. Getting the understanding of these refined patterns that keep happening. It's playing out through here. It's playing out through these pillars and through these sephiroths and through these paths. There are recurring patterns. What's up with these recurring patterns? Well, first of all, you want to understand your own recurring pattern. See, and that's what the unfortunate talked about into once y'all been here for the past. We've been talking about how people want to skip the psychological development and hop straight into spirituality. Like, fuck all that shit. I ain't working on myself. That's not how this shit goes. This is a map of God working on itself, nigga. What do you think the Kalip-Off is? The Kalip-Off is God. The mind of God has done shadow work on itself. The mind of God has rendered out what's not useful and appropriate for itself. It's found this structure to be the most useful and appropriate. So if the mind of God is doing that, nigga, what do you need to be doing? What should you do? But we have to understand the factions and how this faction works. How the mind works versus awareness. How the mind works is generally, oh no, let me stop. So we got the higher self, right? We got the Amkara, the ego, right? And then we got the Shita, the memory, the cosmic memory, which I'm pretty sure all your karmic things go pass along through there. And then you have the manas, the analytical process, right? So you got these four factions of the mind. You have these four factions of the mind. Remember that. You know, there's always a hidden fifth. That hidden fifth is awareness. It's pure awareness. So once we hit a four, we know, right? Once we see the four, we know we dealing with the elements. And once we see that fifth, we still dealing with the elements. And those elements play out through our five senses. Let's see what Rev say. Real talk. Everything is getting more chaotic, but that's a good thing. And that's key. And that's what I'm going to go into, right? That's what I'm going to go into. That's what we're going into today. Appreciate you, Rafe. That's what we're going into today. If you peep, but it's a good thing. You have to see it as a good thing, or you have not. It's not a judgment. It's just a level of awareness. If you're not seeing how chaotic things are becoming as a good thing, then you have not come to that realization point. You still probably calling things evil and saying people are out to get us and do this to us. Haleo, Athena, peace. Appreciate you for showing up to get some of this cosmic P that we pushing. I know you out there standing on principle as always. So if we understand this chaos that's coming in is actually because everything gets more complex. Everything gets more complex at the swing of a yuga, at the swing of a new age. It gets more complex. And everybody around you get to panicking and not knowing what the fuck going on. Except, what did I post on my Instagram? A conscious man. The true aware man cannot ever be without a clear conscience. Some shit like that. Paraphrasing. And I got that. I probably want to say I got that from Vivekananda, which we're gonna read some of that material today too. How can you be the waking man can never be without a clear conscience, because his mind has developed and understood the patterns. His mind has developed and understood the way that this whole structure is set up is playing out exactly how it's supposed to play out. So if that's the case, there are no enemies. There are no obstacles that will apprehend you. Why? Because there are all opportunities. This is a mindset that I've developed. This is a belief that I developed. What are beliefs? Beliefs are based off of experiences that you've had in the past. So the evidence of experiences that you've had in the past that get generalized. And these generalizations of these experiences that you like, that you appreciate, that you hold near and dear to your heart, create beliefs. So beliefs can change. Your beliefs technically aren't real. They're all subjective. You can't reach out and grab your belief and put it in your pocket. It's not objective. It's subjective, which means it's within you, which is why we can change our beliefs, which is why y'all got into the occult and the esoteric knowledge. You used to believe something else, didn't you? And now you go on to something else. So your belief system is subjective. So if we understand it in the mind and awareness, so this is going to help us evolve our level of spiritual intelligence, I guess you could say, right? We have to understand how the mind works. If the mind is if the all is mind, so the all or God or the omnipotent one, or the one that's in superposition, that's always everywhere all at once. If it's a mind, how does a mind work? Or how does the divine mind work? Or if you read the cosmic doctrine, how does the mind of the great entity actually work? How does it work? Can you perceive how it works? Yes, you can, because you are a direct reflection of it. This is why I say it's important to get to understand how your mind works. So the first thing that we need to understand, that it deletes, distorts, and it generalizes. If y'all read the Gold Book, you know. This is it. It deletes, distorts, and generalizes information. How do you know that that's fact? Well, hey, You can look here again, or you can look in a yogic text, or you can look in the comedic shit. You can look anywhere and see that information is deleted, distorted, and generalized. So, and that's the three, right? So we know when we see three, we see the three gunas, right? Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva. The destructive and breaking down part of the mind. Okay. Then we have I said the destructive distortion of the mind. Oh, my bad. Rajas would be the movement, the active part of the mind. Then Thomas would be the breaking down, the destructive part of the mind, or the laziness, or the ignorant part of the mind, right? And then we have sattva, which would be the blissful state of the mind. So let's look at deletion, distortion, and generalization, right? So to delete will probably be to destroy and break something down, right? That would be tamasic, right? So then we look at distortion, that would be Rogers, right? Because that's active, that's movement. To distort something is an action, right? So that's moving. And then we have generalization. The mind generalizes things. So if it's generalizing experiences, what is that? That's sattvic, right? So let's look at the tree again. How does it play out? You got severity, the pillar of severity. What does that do? That deletes. That deletes, right? So that the right pillar gonna delete, and a pillar of mercy is gonna distort. It's moving, it's active, it's the dynamic aspect of the tree, right? Or the dynamic aspect of the mind of God, right? Which are principles, right? And then you have the middle pillar. Everybody knows the middle, that's the balance, that's the sattvic state, right? So what does that do? That generalizes. That is generalizing all these. Listen, this is key. The middle pillar, which is like Dion Fortune likes to call consciousness, the pillar of consciousness, is generalizing all of these outside things together. It's generalizing them and bringing them into a unity. This is what's happening in your mind. So what does that mean? This is what's happening in the mind of God. You got an anabolic and catabolic. You got the building up and a breaking down. So if the mind deletes, distorts, and generalizes, right? So it deletes information. You have conversations, and let's say you have a conversation in a crowded room or some shit like that. Like we said, if you talking to somebody, you have to delete all the conversation that's going on. Like say if you're trying to just shot at a girl in a club, you got to delete all the outside noise outside and focus in on what's the conversation that you're having. So this is a natural process that we're going through when we deleting information. So delete or destruction is not a bad thing. This is what I'm saying. This is what we have to pay attention to. Should it be deemed as evil? No, it should not. If you pull back and look at it from another lens, if you look at it from a higher perspective, this is what I'm talking about, developing your spiritual intelligence. You have to understand that your mind is automatically doing this. Your mind is automatically deleting information, and it's automatically distorting information. You thought you heard something, but you did. You say you heard this, but that ain't what you heard. That ain't what you really heard. You go back and look at your memories, the way that you perceive your memories, everybody else got a different perception. So maybe that's not exactly how that memory or that experience happened. And then you generalize that same experience, right? So I've had multiple interaction with these experiences. So every time I see something like this or something like that, I generalize it and put that into a box. This is how the mind works. This is what we have to understand about the mind. This is what we have to understand when we're having spiritual goals or earthly goals. It doesn't matter if it's earthly or spiritual, it's all spiritual. That's what I'm trying to get people to understand. Because people seem to talk about, think about, like, you know what I'm saying? That's when you get to talking about I don't typically use the word manifest, but let's just use it for all intents and purposes because everybody understands. When you're manifesting something and you're trying to have a life of fruitfulness, right? To be fruitful in life, to have you a crib or car, you know what I'm saying? Your business doing good. People seem to think that's all just materialistic and that's low level. I'm here to tell you it's not. But I'm gonna tell you how it could be. If you're over identifying with the home, with the car, with the clothes, with your status. That's when it becomes extremely materialistic because you have attached. When you over identify, that's what I'm talking about. What's going on in the world? There's a lot of over identification, which means there's a lot of extremities happening. You been here before, you heard me say it. Oh, I'm a rich nigga, I need a rich bitch. Oh, I'm a rich bitch, I need a rich nigga. I'm a boss bitch, I'm a bad bitch. I'm a spiritual baddie. I'm a spiritual guru. Whatever the fuck the case may be, this is what we're identifying with. And this is not a bad thing. I'm not gonna say, see, I'm not gonna use the terminology of it being bad. It's playing its part. What is the part that this motherfucker is playing? Why are these extremities so prominent right now in our times? Why? Because it's time to get complex. Remember, if you read the Cosmic Doctrine, we talked about, what did we talk about? We talked about how these atoms, as they go through the planes and have experiences, they drop shells and pick up other shells, and they get more and more complex. If y'all can remember that, it gets more and more and more and more and more complex. That's what we are understanding. God is getting more complex. God is having more experience. Capital G, period, O, period, D, the generator, operation, and destruction. The generalizer, the deletion, and a distorter. The Thomas, the Rogers, and the Thomas Rogers and Sopvik states. This is the way that mind of God works. And when it gets a lot of generalizations going on, it gets a lot of deleting of shit that's no longer useful and appropriate, and it get a lot of a distortion going on, it gets more and more complex. What we are living in is something that's getting more and more complex. The more complex it gets, it takes us into another state. So if you apply this and understand this with yourself, so that means, okay, I'm making myself more complex. I'm making myself more dense, which is not a bad thing, but how can it be used to move on to the next level? Your next level of your spiritual development. You want to get lighter. You, as an individual, you want to get lighter with attachments to so much shit, but you also have earthly goals that you want to accomplish here. Yeah, you do. You want to see your kids go to school. You want to have a decent built shaped body. You want to eat healthy, drink healthy. You want a decent car. You want a nice house. It may not need to be the most extreme, extraordinary shit. You want to travel the world. Yes, you do. You want to have sex. Yes, you do. And that's okay. All that shit is okay. Anybody telling you anything to you. But here's the trick. Are you seeing the difference? If y'all over here on TikTok, I mean Instagram, please bring y'all ass to YouTube. My Gnosis. Come to YouTube. Hit the link in the bio. So all of this shit is factions of God. But you have to be able to see that though. You have to be able to see that. It's all about your intents and understanding. See, this is a realized person, a self-realized person, and understanding their connection to divinity. If it wasn't meant to happen, or if it wasn't meant to be here, it wouldn't be. So what we talk about with the 30-second path, the 30-second path, how do you get over that is acceptance for what it is. Acceptance for what the world is. Acceptance for what people have done to you. Acceptance for what you have not done that you wanted to do. This is what we're talking about. So if we can align this with our goals, right? So we can align the understanding of all this with our goals now. So we should not feel bad for wanting to have things. See, there's a difference, and we're going to get to that later. For over identifying, if anything, I'm against that. Over identifying with a house or car, bro. I don't own none of this shit. You don't even own your body. You're renting this motherfucker for a time. You're not going to always have this body, but your awareness will always be there. Your mind will even the diminish over time. Your mind is even going to diminish over time. Even though after we die, we know what we leave here with. We leave with our mind and our past experiences. That's fact. That's fact. We leave with that. That's why it's so important to get the mind together versus trying to hop straight into spirituality and do all these rituals and do all this and then find some way. Because what motherfuckers really doing is trying to do some escapism type shit. You have to get the mind together. You know it's going to be a part in your mind always like, damn, I actually do want to go to the strip club. I actually do want a nice outfit. I actually do want to be in love. But a part of you has that resistance. See, that's what we have a lot to deal with. Resistance. But let's go into this. So we understand, if we understand that we are directly connected with whatever we want to call God, that source, right? So that means we are the source. J Bodhell, J Bothell, what's happening? Oh damn, I got comments. Hold up, y'all. Yes, I would say that it would be more challenging for people to understand the term demon, because what does that mean? Because now we've created an enemy, right? Even if we are aware that demons are not nothing bad, right? It's still a part in us that has generated an experience or a pattern. When that word pops up, we already know it's associated with something not good. Let's use that word, because we playing with semantics, which is a real thing, because we got to understand language builds our reality. Language set limits. When we say things, that sets limits. When we use words, that sets limits. Limitations are set by the language that we use, which is what I'm going to get into today. We got to get away from using these certain words that limit us when we're trying to be abundant. But don't get me twisted. I am the person that says everything does not need to be abundant. You want to have limitations. That's the purpose of Gebra. That's the purpose of Gebra. So how can you see Gebra playing out in some real world shit? If we know Gebra is Mars and it's the breaker down of forms and the limitation setter, in comparison with Hasid, which is about more expansion, right? And more abundance activity. How do you see Gebra playing out? So when you have goals, right? This is what I'm going through. When you have goals, when you got things that you want to accomplish, there's a part in your mind that jumps up and it becomes resistance. There's a resistance in you when you want to accomplish something, like, oh yeah, I want to do this, and then a part of your mind is like, no, I don't know. Like, okay, let's put it like this in a relationship form, because everybody's had relationships, right? You meet Me personally, you meet a fine woman, everything's going right, and something about a pattern or something that she does reminds you of a past experience, that you've had with somebody else, right? So this is where your intelligence comes in, or this is where that resistance come in. It's like, oh no, nah, see, no, I ain't fucking with her, because she doing that same shit my ex used to do, or she doing something similar to like what my ex used to do. That resistance comes in, right? That limiting, that breaker down of this new form that you're trying to create, this new bond you're trying to create with somebody. That resistance comes in. It's like, oh no, 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 we ain't doing that. And why does that resistance come in? That can be considered a demon. Oh, I'm my own worst enemy in my mind. I'm always fighting myself in my mind. What are you fighting in your mind? You're fighting that inner resistance. That inner resistance. That's Gibera in the mind of God. You have the mind of God. That's Gibera. But what's the thing about Gibera? If Geber is doing this right thing. I forgot what it said in the Mystic Kabbalah. If it's doing this right thing, it's placing limits where limits need to be placed to save whatever is what's the name. But it can be over extensive and become brutal to where no growth can happen. This is what's happening. This is what's happening when we're going into meditation. This is what's happening when we're hearing new spiritual terms that may didn't go along with everything we heard from our past spiritual teachers. This is what's happening when we're meeting somebody new. This is what's happening when we're setting a new goal out and we can't seem to fucking reach or get to the goal without the internal dialogue of battling. But here's the thing. When we say no obstacles will apprehend you, there's only opportunities. When we say there are no enemies, you cannot make yourself your enemy. You cannot make that self of you. You cannot make that part of you the enemy. That's not useful and appropriate. Making that aspect of you that's resisting, it cannot be your enemy. I hope y'all hear me. It does not have to be your enemy. It's your friend. Every part of us wants us to succeed. It's setting up that resistance because you went through something in the past where you've been hurt, and it's trying to protect you from getting hurt. It's trying to protect you from going through that same thing that you've been through. I've been doing practices with this. I've noticed overnight transformation. I'm serious. Because when you make that aspect of you an enemy, now what all it wants to do is fight, is prepare for a fight when you go in there and try to deal with it. So now you prepare and set yourself up for an inner war. Let me turn on the fan, y'all. Hold up. This inner resistance is going on in God as well. This inner resistance is going on in the world as well. But it's going on inside of you, and you're not going to get to any higher. Damn, I'm missing what I'm missing all y'all comments. I'm sorry, y'all. Probably didn't show love, but have a busy day. I appreciate you for showing up, J Bow here, as always. So, this inner resistance is working its way within you, and you've created into an enemy. You've made it some form of an enemy, which is not helpful for your growth. So that shows you. That's why we're talking about discipline, right? Like, discipline does not help. When you say discipline, don't you automatically think of some form of punishment? This is what I'm saying. With the words that we use, we create these limitations. When you say I need to discipline myself, or I got to get more discipline, what does that do for you? That creates some form of, there's a part of you that needs to be disciplined. So there's a part of you that needs to be punished, and there's another part of you that's doing the punishing. Think about that. We using these words and we creating enemies in a part of ourselves, and we wondering, self included. This is what I'm talking about. Myself. This is me working on myself. You're creating a part of you that needs to be punished. You're creating a part of you that is the enemy. You're creating the enemy. We create the enemy. The enemy is powered by us. Because why? We are the source. But that's when we're unbalanced. See, when we have all this resistance and then we don't get nothing accomplished, and that's when we become a person with low self-esteem. That's when we become a person with no so-called confidence. Then that's when we become a person who's depressed. Because there's a part of you keep punishing, and there's a part of you who know that you can be something else, or what you're trying to be and become, forever becoming. Not that I am, but I am becoming. This is what I'm saying. Let me read the comments. I did the Hue meditation like 48 days ago. I quit drinking. And as soon as I decided to do good, a lot of resistance came up simply by doing something good for myself. That's what I'm talking about, Cody. Didn't appreciate you for coming over here standing on principle with us, Cody. Cody. That resistance is going to come up because you're trying to find a new pattern. You see what I'm saying? When we trying to find new patterns and evolve, that resistance comes up. We always talk about that resistance, right? As soon as we get to going and doing something good, something pops up, that resistance. It's a pattern. What do we talk about? Understanding and recognizing universal patterns. This is a universal pattern. So when something new is coming from the unmanifest and it's existing in just in its potential state, by the time it hits down here, it receives resistance. By the time it gets to going here, it's starting to receive resistance on a cosmic scale. So the same thing is happening in you. But what if you shift your identity from with that of that resistance? What if you shift to that? Listen, that part of that resistance in you wants to give you the best outcome. And the best outcome it knows is to resist doing something new and staying in what we've been doing. This has been working. We've been safe doing this. Let's stick to this. Let's not try nothing new. Let's stick to this. So it's going to keep popping up as emotional bursts. There's an emotion. Pay attention when you have that inner resistance. Peep what emotion that is. It's an emotion that pops up. And what it does is no, what we're gonna do, what you are gonna do, what I do, and what I'm gonna do, and everybody around me that I'm speaking to is gonna do, speak to that resistance. It's in the mind. Have that inner dialogue. Ask it. This is one of the most powerful meditations that I did that came from Phil Valentine condensed magic. He had to just to observe past experiences, that inner resistance, just observe those past experiences. Feel the raw emotion, but don't identify with the emotion because you are not mad. You are not hate. You are not evil. You are not happiness. Yeah. You can be happy, you can be angry, you can be mad, but you are not that. That is not I. Ex- View these points. So ask that point of resistance. What is it that you want? What is it that you're trying to do? How can we work together? I swear to God, it sounds crazy. It's very simple though, but it will talk back to you. That higher self will speak back to you through that. It will speak to you. It will tell you what it's trying to do. Now you give it a different direction. It wants to help you. It's not there to hurt you. There's no part of you that wants to hurt you. Everything wants to get to a desired goal of you becoming whatever we use now, our ultimate self, or this is this and this is that. It wants to help. What are you doing to help it? Beside, because you're not doing anything to help it when it pop up, you fight it. You tell yourself you need to be disciplined. That doesn't help. That doesn't work. Even if it does work, once you get to what you're trying to do, what that goal you're trying to accomplish, you don't feel fulfilled. Everybody around you may be clapping you on, but it's a little piece inside of you that does not feel fulfilled. So if you redirect that, what do I mean by redirect? Well, what I technically would do is when I talk to that part of me, I speak to that part of me. Like, okay, so what is that you want? Oh, well, it may come in like, we did that before and that shit didn't work out. Like that last type of relationship or that last business venture we tried to do, you know what I'm saying, it failed. Okay, but what if we didn't have the resources and the competence that we have now back then? What can we do to work together? I understand what you're trying to do. I'm speaking to the resistance. I understand what you're trying to do. But there's got to be a better way so we can still reach our goal so that we don't overstrangle our ability. What can we do? So you give that resistance a job. How about telling that resistance, hey, this is the goal, this is where we're going, this is our intent, and this is our purpose, and this is where we're going because we're going leading towards our purpose and our values. What if I give that? What if I give you the job of pointing out to me that resistance should pop up when I said I wasn't gonna eat no fatty foods, no greasy foods. As soon as I get that feeling in my stomach, that resistance, okay, pop up during these times to keep us heading towards the goal. Instead of focus and have that resistance focus on the goals in itself, have it focus more on the journey to keep you in the lines on the street. Did that make sense? to keep you in the line. You know, like that role, that lane departure. Have that resistance play that role instead of playing the role of blocking the fucking car from moving at all. See if that works. I know it works. Talk to yourself in that aspect. Let me read some of these comments. Yep, that's right. Damn, I'm missing a lot of comments, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. You versus you, the biggest battle you'll ever face in this lifetime. And once you get to that point, like, oh shit, it ain't me versus me no more. Now me and me is working together. So it's not even me and me. It's just me. You see what I'm saying? And that goes back to what we understanding with this. We understand that this is not one God, another God, another God, another God, another God. This is all one. It's all one. And they work together. No enemies. Literally. There is no God versus the devil. I feel like everything is out of my window or above my head now. Why you say that, Cody? Like what AZW say? Don't pick a side. Don't pick a side. Be the observer of that. That changes. I like to practice Wu Wei in Asian philosophy. I like getting things done without even lifting a finger. I don't know, it's strange. It's like ordering the world. It's like authority. That's dope right there. That's what I'm talking about right there. I'm hitting the like and subscribe. Nice channel. I like the subject a lot. Appreciate you, Cody D, for coming through. For sure. I don't know that you saying you dipping, but I appreciate it. I stumbled across him today. I just subscribed today too, Cody. Hey, appreciate y'all for tapping in. Appreciate y'all for coming in and tapping in. This is because this was just a random live. I ain't even really got to the meat and bones of what I'm finna get to. So ain't no telling how long we're gonna be here. But as long as y'all stop through, it's always gratitude and love and appreciation for when somebody pull up. Straight up. Yeah, Cody says I like how I laugh. I find myself laughing all the time. Like I laugh at how everyone takes life so seriously. That see, and that's why I got that joker behind me. Why so serious? Why so serious? Because I understand the mind of God now. I understand the mind of God. I'm understanding my mind. I'm understanding the reality that I'm so called in. So called key. It's no longer hard and stressful. I have nothing to stress out about. I don't think about no Illuminati getting me. There are no demons getting me. There are no monitoring spirits that can do anything to me. Because I see the divinity in everything. There are no YouTube speakers who can speak about me like that does anything to me. Because I am aware that that motherfucker is God too, and he's acting out as maybe some sort of resistance or whatnot. The motherfucker want to be. There's nobody who can make me feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's none of that, bro. There's none of that. There's none of that. Everything is working in my favor. That's no obstacles will apprehend you, prosper over pain. No obstacles will apprehend you. Why? Because they're only obstacles. I mean, the obstacles are only opportunities. The obstacles are only opportunities. I'm the architect of this whole reality. So what I put in my face is going to ultimately play out in my benefit. That's a belief that I've created, right? What do we say beliefs are? Experiences that we had that we hold dearly to. Repetitive experiences, repetitive patterns. What experiences? Patterns. We got to remember this. Straight talk. Talk that talk, bro. Hold up. Read these comments. The mind. Peace. Appreciate you for showing up. Appreciate you for showing up. Greetings. Coincidence. Is my will creating an incident? Baby, listen to my word. They are so intimate. My bad, man. I don't know what you're saying. It sounds like you what's the name of a song? For real. Hallelujah. It's called freedom and liberty and dignity. I love that. They think everything is falling apart, but in reality, everything is fall. That's what I'm talking about right there, man. The man. That's what we talking about right there. Damn, hold up. Everything is falling into place. It's not falling apart. That's what you think, but not y'all, obviously, because y'all seem to fucking get it. But a lot of people think things are falling out of fucking place, and that's not the case. It's falling right where it should be. And that's what we're going to get into with some of this Terrence McKenna stuff. Facts cancel out everything. Cody said, it reminds me of Marty Williams, Devil Woman. I'm done with you. I found my Mary by the river. I'm like, oh, devil women. No, that's it right there, Wave 636. No obstacles will apprehend you. Obstacles are only opportunities. After I went through so much fuckery in my life, after I seen so much fuckery in my life, and me bumping my head into my heads, well, probably both of my heads, then bumped them enough to understand all this shit actually years down the line, months down the line, it plays out to be of benefit. Ain't that amazing? When the shit that you thought was fucking killing you, listen, you have made it through 100% of those days that you thought you weren't gonna make it through. Think about that. You've made it through everything that you thought. Every time you thought, oh my God, this is the end. Oh, it's over with. This shit over with. I ain't gonna never be able to. And look at you. After I had all those experiences, I understood. I'm like, oh, I get it. All of these things work in my favor, and it was putting things in place. So those relationships that hurt me, those times of me getting locked up, going to jail, those shootouts I went through, the women that cheated, the homeboys that turned, the ass whooping I got as a kid, losing my parent, I said, oh, my grandparents. Let me correct the fuck out of that. My grandparents and how they end up being taken out of his life, my friends being taken out of his life, and how much that hurt. It all led me to here. It all led me to here. This is what I'm saying. You have to come into that realization because this is what we have to understand, right? So when we're going for our goals and we're going for our purpose, what's our goals? We have to understand the goal is the vehicle to get us to our purpose. The goal is not the thing that we're trying to obtain. That's why we don't be feeling fulfilled once we achieve goals, because we're looking at the goal as the thing to obtain. That's why you have goal after goal after goal, and you just never feel, people never feel fulfilled. That's why millionaires want more and more and more and more and more and more and more, because they're not getting fulfilled. They're not living a fulfilling life because they are not lining up with this is how we get people who get depressed and low self-esteem, because they're not lining up with their values. This is P. You got to be lining up with your values. I went through a process where I wrote down my values, and I pinpointed, and I broke them down as much as I could to get to the point and get to understanding what's my values. Here I'm demonstrating my values here. A lot of them. Joy. I enjoy doing this right here. Conversating with y'all, reading y'all comments, reading all these goddamn books that I got that bring me to closer understanding of the I. Being able to assist people, all the people that DM me, inbox me, the consultations, like whatever the case may be. I enjoy this. I do not get in a rut of like, oh my God, I hate this shit. Why I gotta be doing this shit? I also have of my values is devotion, being devoted to what I'm learning here, to being devoted to the interaction here, being devoted to learning how I can help other people. These are my values. Appreciation, gratitude, these are my values. When I come on here and I see y'all, I appreciate the fuck out of y'all. Fuck boosting me. I appreciate the fuck out of y'all that y'all can find value in this and I can bring value. That's very much gratitude on my end. I think I fucked that sentence up, but I'm very grateful for that shit. These are my principles, and it's all love. These are principles. I'm doing something that I love to do. I'm being around people that I love to be around. So when I'm lining, that's just a couple, but when I'm lining up with my values, right? What are my values? My values come from experiences that I've had that I hold near and dear to my heart. So if you heard those values, you should be able to categorize like, oh, okay. So that means he's had experiences of joy. He's had experiences of compassion. He's had experiences of gratitude. He's had experiences of devotion. And he holds those near and dear to his heart. So those are my values. So when I'm setting an intent to accomplish a goal, when I'm setting an intent to accomplish a goal, I need to make sure, y'all listen, you have to make sure that whatever you're setting out a goal for, it needs to align with your values, because that's how you get depressed and get low self-esteem, because you're moving outside of your values. You know you have these values, but you're just doing some shit. Hold up. Instagram has disconnected. Fuck Instagram, man. Okay. Yeah. So that's because you're moving out of alignment of your values. The things that you value come from your past experiences that you hold near and dear to you. So you say, "Oh, I'm a lovable person. I'm a joyful person. I'm a compassionate person. I'm a grateful person." So if you know these are your values, you need to be setting your goals in alignment with them. You don't it's not helpful just to set goals out to get money. It's not going to be helpful because it's not going to be fulfilling. You can see it. Look around and see it. I shouldn't have to explain that. It's not going to be fulfilling. Obviously, you need money, so I'm not saying don't get money. So please don't chop that up and then make something out of that. But what I'm saying here is you should, if you need to be financially stable, whatever the fuck it is, you need to make sure. Damn, I just lost my words. You need to make sure that you're aligning up with your values, with your goals. That's very important. Other than that, like I said, you're gonna lose confidence. You're gonna lose motivation. And then you have to smack yourself with discipline. Now you got to have discipline. Now you got to whoop your ass with discipline. And that's not going to work. It's a point. It's a reason why that part is resisting. You ain't giving it clear direction and instruction. And that's how you get low self-esteem and get depressed, because you're living a life that does not align with your values. Remember, values are past experiences that we have had that align, that we hold near and dear to our heart, that we hold value in. It's hard to not use the word value double. That's your values. So you line that up, right? And remember, but check this out. You get to place the value on your values. You are the source. You the God. You the one get to place value on values. We might not place the same values on our past experience that I do. So those are your values. That's your P. That's the S.O.P you standing on. Somebody drop a S.O.P in the comments. Stand on principle. Stand on purpose. This is standard operating procedure. Please drop a S.O.P. I'm waiting on them S.O.Ps in the chat. Where y'all at? S.O.P. There we go. AZW. That's all I needed. One. So this goes with all of spiritual practices. You may think that we're talking about some very human shit, but you're not. Standard operating procedure. It also stands for standing on principle. And it also stands for stand on purpose. We're talking about purpose here. And I ain't saying it to you like that, Cody D. That's just how I talk. I know this your first time coming over here. But yeah, standing operating procedure and standing on principle. Because what we're talking about here is cosmic P, cosmic principles of how the mind works. We're talking about the resistance. We're talking about being out of alignment with your purpose. So your values, your experiences and your values are damn near synonymous. But you have an intent to reach a purposeful life, right? A fulfilling life, not a fulfilled life. A fulfilled life, ED means the end, right? So you're trying to have a life that's fulfilling, right? So you got to understand that we're going to use goals. What are we going to use goals for? We're going to use our goals as the vehicle to hit our values or our purpose that plays out in a situation, that plays out in a lifestyle. We're going to use the goal as that. The goal is not the goal. If that makes sense, the goal is not the goal. The goal is the vehicle to get you to your purpose, to be living in purpose that's aligned with your values. Because you are the source of all of that. So no material possession to get the house. That should that's a goal to get you to what? Some security. You know what I'm saying? Which is a low value, but we'll get into that another time because that's survival, right? Which is not bad, but that's survival mode shit only. But that's to get you to a point where you can live comfortably, right? So comfortability may be one of your values. Security may be one of your values. Being able to bring your family, so or family and friends to live in this big house that you want to get, that may be one of your because you value community. You value unity. These can be your values, but the goal is not the destination. The home is the vehicle to get you to that community. You see what I'm saying? The goal is to get the home so you can have the community, which is your value, which is part of your purpose. Am I making sense? Somebody talk to me. In and while you do that, you play a role, but you want to be careful to not over identify with the role. Okay, okay. The mind say, yeah. So you want to be careful to not over identify with the role. That's where you get some people who get super crazy with this shit. Like, okay, I told y'all my values and how I'm getting there and my goals, right? So the goal is the vehicle, right? So like the role will be the type of driver that you're going to be. You see what I'm saying? The role is going to be the type of driver that you are, because you got some crazy wild drivers, you got some speed racer drivers, or you got some driving Miss Daisy type rider drivers. You see what I'm saying? You got some people that just can't fucking back and drive. All those different personalities. Those are personalities, the role that you play. But that is not the purpose. And that role is not the source of the value. That's just something that you have to play because everybody within this world has a personality and they play a role. Everyone wears a fucking mask. You have to understand that. Everybody's wearing a mask. That's not bad. It's not bad unless you get into some people trying to manipulate and take control over people's willpower and all that shit we're not getting into. But you want to be careful to not identify yourself with the fucking role. I can't heavily identify myself with a nigga on YouTube. You see what I'm saying? Because okay, let's say you do that, you heavily identify with that, right? What happens when YouTube goes down? Are you still gonna be that same person? Could I still be that same person? No, because I didn't get the platform and what's the name to use and do all of that type shit with. So we want to understand the role that we're playing is not the source. So how do we revert that back to this spiritual shit that we talking about? You want to understand the body that you're in, the name that you have. You're not that name. You're not that body. You're not that thought. You're not those emotions. My nigga, you are the pure awareness, the source. That's you. All you're doing here is playing a game to be able to get the purpose. Check. S.O.P, motherfuckers. My guys, my girls, my everything in between. So you want to live an intentional life. You want to live an intentional life that lines up with your higher values. And you're going to meet resistance as you go through this type of shit, right? I did a session. I did a session, and I'm not going to get too much details on them. I did a session with somebody and help them be able to go in and tap into that resistance and speak with that resistance. It took a couple tries, but what it came out to, that person was able to speak with that resistance. Because the person may go through so much shit in their past life and that trauma that pops up inside their mind when they trying to think about their purpose and their goals and this and that. Me included, because I went through it as well. I did a session with somebody, and oh my God, so much was lifted up off of that lovely person. So much, and a person was able to see. Now it's still an ongoing thing, but a person is able to see clearly now how to direct that resistance. It's like an automatic self-esteem boost. It's like an automatic confidence boost. I'm telling y'all, this shit is life changing. I've done this to myself, and I've done it in sessions. So if you do want to tap into something like that, holla at me. Hit me up on the DM. But with that being said, so we understand our experiences, right? Then we understand our qualities. So our experiences and our values is basically like the same shit. So you want to understand these parts about you. So your experiences give you your qualities. Because we understand our qualities and our values come from where? They come from the past experiences that we've had, that we hold near and dear to us, right? So that they come in that aspect. Hold up. So that's a generalization. Remember, we talking about deletion, distortion, and generalization. This is what the mind does. So we're generalizing our experiences and saying, "Oh, you know what? I had plenty of experiences like that. That type of experience makes me happy. So now, you know what? I value happiness. I had this, and that, and that experience made me value community. So you know what? I value community. So now that's a part of my identity." Right? So if those values and those things are lining up with my identity, now if I keep going with intent behind those values, now my self-esteem is boosted. Now my confidence is boosted, and it's going to stay there because I'm moving with Cosmic P. This is Cosmic P, understanding the mind of God. That's what I'm here to tell you. This is how you develop spiritual intelligence. You understanding how the mind works. Let's see. Cody says, in sickness, I was left behind alone. In the health, can't find my people / place. It's like there's not any one person I love. Even in my dreams, I chase the ghosts around with a liter of seltzer. Tap in with me, Cody. I don't know. You see my IG up here? I say tap in with me on my IG. We can chop it up. We can probably set up a session or something. Let's see what that is. Because I'm telling you, everybody has the same story, just playing out with different characters in different settings. I swear to God, everybody can relate to what we just talked about here. And they just may run away from this channel because they see all the goons and goblins and demons in the back. So, with that being said, now we finna. I actually had some parts of the book I was gonna read out of, but I guess not purposeful. Oh, matter of fact, it actually may be. Let's see. Right now, what it says. I'm reading from the Cosmic Doctrine. What does she say? This is the secret of the God in man. He is related primarily not to the God of his universe, who is his conditioner, but his creator, who is a corresponding atom in the cosmos, who creates but has no power to condition, because it is itself conditioned by the great entity which it forms a part. But When the reflected atom of a universe develops a corresponding aspect to the nature of its creator and can thereby unite with it, the cosmic atom receives into itself all the conditions of the universe, which was projected by the great entity of whose body it forms a part. Check this out. And as the universe is conditioned by the great entity, the cosmic atom thus becomes a replica of the great entity, and being thus completely conditioned by it, is no longer being conditioned. Listen, this is what we're trying to get to. The no longer being conditioned by our reality. Is no longer being conditioned, but has been conditioned. And therefore its condition and therefore its conditioning is of the past. And therefore in the present is unconditioned by the great entity, because it has achieved a state in which it conditions itself. This is what I'm talking about. This is how we develop our spiritual intelligence. We get to conditioning ourselves. We're already doing it unconsciously, and it ain't been working. When we find the enemies within ourselves, when we find the enemies outside of ourselves, we're no longer being conditioned. We are doing the conditioning. And so it is independent. It is made free of the cosmic planes. Is no longer held in bondage to the service of the great entity. This is the play we're going. That right there, Sunshine Chick, was the cosmic doctor. You know, we all got to keep tapping back into that motherfucker. So, what am I trying to get to here? Let's see what else I had. I had little parts I was gonna bring it up and speak about it, but you know, sometimes a motherfucker just flow and it flow like that. So, this is what we're gonna get into later. So, this right here is Samkhya Darshan, because we have to understand the reality that we in. And if we understand that it's all God, this is going to be hard for some people. What I'm about to get into. If we understand that it's all God, everything here has consciousness. Some may be inert. Everything down here has consciousness. It has to. Everything has a Purusha. Everything has Purusha within it. Everything has Brahman within it. It has to. There is no separation on that level. It's only under the illusion of Maya, or under the limitations of Maya, that you think that there's a separation, but it's all, like, didn't it say somewhere in the Bible, like something like, look around you, heaven is all around you. You looking for heaven, you waiting to get to heaven, but heaven is all around you. I don't know. I wish Jay Bothell was here. He'll correct me with that Bible verse, but I think it's something like that. Like, heaven is all around you. Heaven is all around you, and heaven is within you. But for the matter that we're talking about, heaven is all around you. So that means consciousness is all around you. Awareness is all around you. Now, is there different degrees of awareness? Yes, there's different degrees of awareness, because I'm leading up to something. I mixed this with a whole lot of shit, because why am I bringing this up when we talking about the mind of God and deletion, distortion, and category and generalization? Because when we hear new shit, we delete some of the shit that we heard that the mind might not want to take in, and we distort what we heard somebody say. And there go the devil himself, Luke 17:21. The evil devil motherfucker himself right there. Travis Majors. My God. So, worse than human can do is stop in growth in another human being. It's stop the growth in a human being. Right. We want to help produce the growth in human beings. Like, that's one of my values that will lead me to my purpose. Because I found value in people giving me things that help me grow and have more self-realization. Like this guy here, like a Bobby Hemmett, like a Brother Panic, or some of these ancient texts that I'm tapping into and reading. See, I may do my own methodology or whatnot, or I may do some given methodology or whatnot, but it's all helping bring a motherfucker into realization, then I can take it back. Okay, I did this and this and that. Let me go give it to somebody else that's useful. That way it's useful for them, right? So they can have the same realization. They may take it and they may add a little bit of parts to it, because this is what we want to do. We want to understand the way that people already have see, everybody internal system may have some of the same working parts, but they may have to do it in a different way. Some people may be kinesthetic, people may be auditory, some people may be gastric, or however you say that word. Some people may have different ways that they do it. So when we work with fields, we don't want to make people feel like they have to do it this way, A, B, C, D. We need to figure out the way that they're doing it and use their own internal system, and then plug in this piece here and plug in this piece there. You see what I'm saying? Because you're going to be met with resistance when you're trying to help people. So it's like almost like you got to speak the person's language. You got to speak the person's language, especially when it gets more on a personal level. Right here, I'm just, speaking in general, but like you want to speak that person's language, that person's mind already has a language that is used to. It's already adapted to a certain pattern, right? It's already adapted to certain patterns. And that's what we're talking about, understanding the patterns, dealing with the mind of God, because you're the mind of God. So you want to know how God thinks. God thinks like your ass, just like you. Except, especially when it's wrapped up in Prakriti. I'll tell you that. Okay, Cody says, y'all think it's Luke 14 about the party and the Tower Foundation, how the rich people to throw didn't go to the party, so poor people did, and they appreciated the foundation. Okay, I don't even remember that. There's a lot of parts of that Bible that I don't. So now we feel like now we getting into the part of why I was going to bring up some of this Terrence McKenna stuff, right? Because like we reject, we resent, we what's the word I've been using all night, y'all? This word that starts with not resentment, but resistance, right? When we dealing with resistance, so when we hear different topics, we resist them. But at the same time, we'll say we spiritual and this and this and that, and all is God and all is this, and I am this and I am that. But it's like we still shut off different aspects when people get to talking about something that may not line up with the trendy spiritual shit. You see what I'm saying? So what do we talk about at the beginning? How everything is getting more complex. All the atoms are getting more complex. Remember, we talked about in the cosmic doctrine about the complexity of the traveling atoms. They went through every up and every down, every goddamn plane, up and down every goddamn plane till they found their own way and start carving out their own paths, which what we may be calling the 32 paths upon the tree, right? So as it get more complex, then something new arises. That's what's happening with those traveling atoms, those divine sparks, which is what goes across all occultism on over to the west, to the Eastern philosophy, which where the Western occultism comes from, but on over to Africa and then out east. These divine sparks, once they got so complex and they've had all these experiences, something new arises. I'm getting somewhere. Something new arises, and I'm pretty sure it shakes up the foundation or whatever the people who or things that may observe it. It shakes up the foundation of the very fabric of the motherfucking cosmos of the universe. It has to, because it's doing something that has not been witnessed yet, and a lot of resistance is met with that. So let's get into something. Says now this one here comes from Samkhya Darshan. You should have it. The different stages of evolution. Listen, mineral, vegetable, animal, and human are all levels of Prakriti. Mineral, vegetable, animal, and human are all levels of Prakriti. All levels of evolution have different degrees. Listen, have different degrees of self-consciousness, self-awareness, and identity. A stone is considered to be Jada or inert. Check this out. But if that stone suddenly gets an injection of consciousness, it will be recognized and express itself as a stone. Jada is in sentience, material existence minus consciousness. Hold up. Avidya is not existence minus consciousness, but existence minus recognition. Consciousness is one thing and recognition is another. You may be conscious, but you suddenly recognize something. That recognition is an added realization of something within consciousness. Recognition is vidya. In the absence of that is avidya. So avidya does not mean absence of consciousness. Avidya is present even in conscious beings. Oh, he dropped it. He dropped the link. Let's see. Can I? Oh shit! I gotta go to YouTube. My damn. Oh damn! I had to do it from a goddamn. Click that link right there. Trav just dropped the link to the book, the actual book. Just dropped the link to the actual book. Trav just dropped the link to the book. Let's see. Can I? Just drop the link. I thought you can pin it. Asshole. I don't know how to do it, y'all. Pin comment. Let's see. No, it wants me to pin. Oh, that's right. I had to do it from my damn from my browser. So I'm saying all that to say, let's get into a little bit of what I was bringing up about Terrence McKenna, y'all. Cause we got to remember everything has some level of consciousness. It may be very low, maybe very low. Because when we dealing with consciousness, what are we dealing with? We dealing with Purusha. We're dealing with the soul. We're dealing with awareness. There's not too many ways to describe it other than fucking awareness. Being aware, having a awareness. Because remember, Purusha, the soul factor, doesn't do anything. It just sits there and observes. That's it. It just observes. Now, it may be wrapped up in what it's observing and identifying with it, which is what us humans do, right? So if we understand and consciousness, Trav. We understand consciousness, right? What is consciousness doing here? It's observing. So we as developed spiritual intelligent beings, we understand that all is Brahman, like they like to say in the Vedantic society. We're gonna close it off with, I had some opals I was gonna pull out, but we're gonna close it off with some Vivekananda. I've been fucking with Vivekananda, right, in the Vedanta society. Like I've been watching a lot of that and reading a lot of that, along with, you know what I'm saying, the understanding the neurological pathways and programming the neurological pathways that we have. He said, I'll skirt to the library before I give Amazon any of my Chiquita. I mean, hey, that's up to you. Amazon has been my friend. Amazon has been my friend, especially 2024. What else can I get a book when I'm on live with Travis Majors? Order a book when I'm on live with Travis Majors, and he on live for 26 fucking hours. And by the time I wake up and by the time I go to sleep and getting off a live with him and wake up, my fucking book is delivered, and he's still on live giving gems. Shit, ain't no place I can do that at other than Amazon to make that shit possible. So I understand, Cody D. I know some people may have a quarrel with them, but not I. Nah, AZW, that shit was legendary. I said, with God, all things are possible. Because what cannot not be possible? Right? If you look at it like that, it's all God. It's nothing but the one. Remember, I'm just bringing it back up, a recap from what we talked about earlier. This is all one. It just has to be broken down in many aspects to show you the functions of the one. This is all one. Bina is Ketha. Darth is Ketha. Tifereth is Ketha. Malkuth is Ketha. Had is Ketha. In different states. Different states. So like the United States, we are all one, but we're separate. Had to be put in separate forms so we can do more work within it. We can understand the function of the state of Tennessee, the state of Georgia, the state of Florida. That's how they get personality. You see what I'm saying? That's how Gebra has a personality of breaking down for him. That's how Bina has a personality or the description of confining force and giving it a form. You see what I'm saying? So let's get into this. It's gonna be a couple videos we're gonna get into, y'all, because I'm bringing it. People out there sliding in the snow, because I'm bringing it for a reason. Let's see here. Let's go, Mr. Terrence McKenna, Mr. Shroomer. It's loading, y'all. Give it a second. Because what are we getting to? I'm telling you, this shit is getting way more complex. What we're living in is getting way more fucking complex. Getting way more to the extremities, which means something new is emerging. Oh, this shit don't want to work. Am I freezing up, y'all? Can y'all hear me? Somebody let me know in the chat. Am I freezing up? Am I breaking up? Come on, some buy orange suit and be Mr. Florida. We need a colorful approach. Hey, the video don't want to work. Okay, I'm golden. Okay.
Gnosis.
See, look, the video was playing all perfectly and fine. No, I don't. Hold up. Oh, Hassad just said this is so empowering. Appreciate you, love. What's empowering was seeing all y'all faces here. What's empowering for me, especially seeing your face. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. Let's try the next video. The first one is the one I actually wanted to play. But God damn. That shit crazy, y'all. That actually don't want to play. I know what I can do. Remove from storage. Let's try this. See, when you met with resistance, you got to talk to it. Why are you resisting me, baby? What's wrong? What you trying to get us to do, baby? Why you don't want to play? You want the people to walk away because my videos won't play? Come on now. How does that help us reach our goal and our values and our purpose? Come on. You got to work with me, baby. Yeah. You got to work with me, baby. Come on, man. You got people leaving. You don't want to play, baby. You don't want to play the game that we came to play. So the God issue was working perfectly earlier. Add to store. Add to stage. Okay. We might got action, y'all. Oh yeah, there's some bullshit. There's some bullshit. Gotta speak to them elementals, right? Gotta speak to them elementals. Especially when they being stubborn. Every freaking night, every freaking day. Probably that's what they want to hear, some freaky. Prakriti equals ears, listening. God damn, man. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take it off. If this don't work, I'm gonna just remove them from the studio. Take them off from the studio, and then add them back in. And this should give us the juice that we need. Cause maybe I got too much shit sitting up on here. Damn, I might do a whole nother video just for that. Remove from studio. Thank you. All right. Now, it's gonna be it right here. I know what I actually might have to do. Y'all actually sticking it out. Yeah, learn a lesson like real talk though. Cause StreamYard actually is dope, bro. I done seen other platforms that people done gave me. I'm like, your device is having trouble sharing the video. Try sharing again. Asshole. Asshole. Let's see, y'all. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It look like we ain't got no action. So here we go. We're gonna share a screen. We're gonna share a screen. We're gonna share a screen. If not, I think we all understand that I'm just grateful that somebody can receive some inspiration from this, what we talked about earlier. So let's see if it let me share the screen. Can y'all see my screen? Nope. Saying your device is having trouble sharing the screen again. Try again. Well, y'all, she don't like being called asshole. Well, I tried, and then I'm gonna try one more time to at least upload one video. If it don't let me do it, I guess I'll talk about it, which I know I'm gonna miss some of these points that he talked about from the aspect that he talked about it, which is actually good, but it still lines up with my theory. And my theory is obviously, bro, what's happening right now with artificial intelligence? What's all happening with artificial intelligence? What's going on? Some people may not be able to accept that this is part of it. This is part of it. And there's big changes, man. Fuck, man. Really want this video to play. And it's a lot of shit that we as spiritual people or shit as regular normal human beings, we can't accept. And Terrence McKenna was going in on about like how we are one of those first species, right? We one of these species different from our primal ancestors who come from the primal waters that had to be like, damn, one day I wonder, can I go up on land? They start dreaming and thinking about like, what did it be like to go on land? What did it be like to go on land? And they finally end up getting on land. They got resistance. That's that Thomas. Told y'all. That's that resistance. That's what it is. See, and they got that. Oh, I thought he was talking about what's the name, but he talking about what I'm saying. And then they finally evolve. You know what I'm saying? Generally speaking, evolve and end up being able to walk on land. And now we're those humans. Now we're the life species that see. When we let me set a preliminary hearing for this, right? We understand that we are strings of data. I mean, just pure strings of consciousness, which is data, right? Because we dealing with the Akashic records. It's just a pure stream of consciousness and understand or in past experiences, all put on one thing. You've heard me make the connection before with blockchain technology and Akashic records. Now he was bringing up the fact that like shit, with all the creative intelligence that we got on this planet, we still can't. We can't even send a marble across the cosmos at the speed of light. But what we can do is just like thought. They say thought is faster than the speed of light. We can send a thought across the world, across the universe at the speed of light, which means we can send information across the universe at the speed of light, which means where are we at? We're in the information age, right? How is this artificial intelligence shit playing out? Damn, I want to have a video up. How's this shit playing out? Right? Because now when me and my homies having a conversation, I'm like, bro, you know what I'm thinking? Like, fuck it. The whole fucking internet is part because listen, we're getting more complex, which means it gets more dense. I was studying the yugas, right? Between each yuga, there's a descending and then an ascending phase. So there's a phase where you descend and then you ascend. So in the Kali Yuga, you descend, then ascend, and then a Dwapara Yuga, you descend and ascend. And so once we start descending, that's where those or ascending, that's where those phases of extremities get to happening, right? See, we talked about the complexities, right? These extremities, these new anomalies that start happening, which she broke down in the cosmic doctrine of these traveling atoms, start going to different extremes and start getting more complex and carving out their own path. So I'm making a connection with understanding the Akashic records and understanding past life reincarnation and all this that generally is spoke about and that's understood, especially over in this spiritual shit. If you look at the internet, what is it? It's nothing but a storehouse. Listen, Akasha goes into ether. The Akasha goes into the ether. The storehouse of information of human consciousness and thoughts. That's what the internet is. A storehouse of it. Hell, you don't even just got humans on it. You got the whole human existence on it. What all humans have done. History, from known history and made up history. From cars to cats to trees to different breakdown of different trees, different breakdown of different seeds. Is that not the collective unconscious? Somebody talk black to me. Somebody talk black to me. Is that not the collective unconsciousness? And you still got people in the spiritual community talking about artificial intelligence and the internet is fucking the antichrist. Like, what the fuck? And then string theory, like it's all connected. So what if this whole Akashic records thing is being brought down on a more dense level? Or is it even dense? Or is this the evolution of God? Because ain't that what we talking about when we coming from Kether to Malkuth? From Kether to Malkuth is is evolution. Or what the fuck? I forgot what the fuck they said. I forgot what they said. But God is evolving. God was this still point. Let's just, if we're using the tree of life, God was this still point, not moving, not doing nothing, just having a introspection on itself and creating different reflections of itself and different aspects of itself. Is how will we come down here into the fucking tree, right? Come down here into the tree. So it's evolving as it gets more complex. The complexity shows the evolution. That's the type of shit Terrence McKenna was getting in. He didn't make it to know none of this shit that I'm talking about technically, but he was getting into the how complex we're getting into and how this motherfucker is going to be a madhouse. Because he made this video before 2012 and he was talking about that point of 2012 coming in. It's going to be a fucking madhouse down here. You're gonna have people that's gonna see shit and they're gonna scream, kick, and run. Oh my god, it's evil. Oh my god, it's aliens, it's drones, it's this and it's that. They doing this and they doing that. Have you heard about this? And they upload minds into the computer and then they having AI do this and do that. But like, what if this is the evolution to push forward our whole new existence? I'm not saying line your ass up and get in a robot. That's not what I'm saying. Please. Do understand those nowhere near what I'm saying. I'm recognizing, what am I recognizing? Brahman and everything. Because think about the materials they have to use to create the internet. For the internet to okay, Trey, say you remember that one. That damn, bro, I want to try it one more time, bro. Because I'm telling y'all, it's very interesting in the way, especially the way that he talked too. The way that he talk is almost like put your ass in a trance. Your ass is going to trance real quick. But like, what I'm saying is this here: to see God in everything, even in an artificial intelligence. It's nothing but God. It can be nothing but God. Is what I'm trying to say. Am I saying worship artificial intelligence? Fuck no. I'm saying it's a creation of God's creation. It's a creation. Then now it creates your projects. I use Opus clips to chop up my clips. It creates that, you know what I'm saying? Creations of creations of creations. That still ultimately, you see what we read back into the cosmic doctrine, where how certain things in the cosmos are conditioned, and some in these traveling atoms are things that's not conditioned by the conditioner of his universe, by something, but is conditioned by something that created the cosmos. That's what it got conditioned by, and it's evolving. But it had something outside of it that created other things that's still connected to it. See, damn, hold up, it's gonna pop up. Look what Trav said, y'all. The the internet is a very much a reflection of the astral plane. There's a cool theory that says the internet wasn't created but discovered. Damn. See, that's what I was finna get to right there, Trav. That next one right there. That's what I was leading up to. That's why I read that part in Samkhya Darshan. I got down to the minerals. These minerals have consciousness. Everything that they use to make this technology already has consciousness. And especially if we're talking about we're consciousness, what's the big game about understanding like how the internet can be the Akashic records made more accessible to even the most dense human mind? What if that's the case? Because it's getting more complex here. It's getting more complex here. I was reading a book, The Holy Science, and it was breaking down the yugas and how you're going through the yugas of ascending phase and a descending phase. About how, and it also breaks down in there about how things get more extreme. This has been my theory. When things get more extreme, you know you're coming to an end, a beginning of something new. The end and the beginning is the same goddamn thing, to be quite honest. The end and the beginning is the same thing because there really is no end and there really is no beginning. But this new cycle comes in, and Terrence McKenna broke down like, damn, so we're the first species that may be able to live beyond human physical matter. Because we can send, so we may be able to go further with existing as pure information. Nigga. existing as pure information. Because what is God? Nothing but an information. Remember when she broke, fuck it, she broke down a personality versus individuality, something being stereotyped and categorized after action and reaction, and then the individual, one of the two, they go out and they express and they have experiences, and then after the experience the habits goes right back into the individuality. Let's read that. What am I talking about? Because this was one of my favorite parts of Dion Fortune book, and she broke down the personality versus individual. Here we go. Okay. A great entity then starts by evolving a basic nature, projects its own image and its awareness of that image. Check this out. In its multifarious aspects, builds up a second aspect of consciousness. These two phases correspond to those aspects of the soul known as individuality and personality. And individuality or higher self, whether listen, even the great entity has a higher self, whether of the great entity or of the microcosmos, which is man, is that series of organized reactions which reached a equilibrium in the preceding phases of evolution. See, this is why I said this is still going on in the mind, because once you reach an equilibrium, or organized equilibrium, that is still, when we talk about generalization, distortion, and deletion, that's generalizing things, that's categorizing things when it's getting organized. This is the mind of God when you understand delete, distort, and organization, or categorization, or generalization, same thing. Is that series of organized reactions which reached an equilibrium in the preceding phases of evolution. Those phases having passed away, nothing of them remains but the capacities for reactions that have been acquired by that entity. Nothing remains. The past expressions or the past phases of past times don't remain. Only thing that remains in the human is the capacity for that reaction. Why do you think we do the same shit? Humans doing the same shit. We've built up a personality or identity or individuality. Let's get down to individuality. An individuality then is a set of stereotyped reaction capacities. So you went through something enough time, and now it's stereotyped. Now it's locked into a pattern, and you have the capacity to react. Trav, we on. This is chapter 12, the birth of consciousness in the universe. Damn, probably could have read a lot more shit from that. Chapter 12. She didn't put verses in this one. That's what's up. But in my book, Trav, this page 74. This page 74. So an individuality then is a set of stereotype reaction capacities. Stereotype means something that's already been mapped out. You ain't doing nothing new. You know what I'm saying? Not the typical stereotype, but we can use that stereotype, right? It's already a preconceived notation of something, right? Now you have the capacity, because you've had reactions to other outside influences of movements. Now you have the capacity, right, to react. So if somebody slap you, now you got a reaction. You know what I'm saying? The first time you got slapped, damn, okay, what was that? I never felt that before. Or the first time you had sex, damn, what? Never felt something so wet before. What is this? Then you have you know what I'm saying? Now you have the capacity of how to react next time. Now, you know what I'm saying? It's stereotype within your character. So then that's individuality, right? But then we get to personality. Personality is that set reaction capacities. So you have these capacities, right? Which is the addition of a new factor. So something new happens. So now I always gonna make shit towards six. But so now you have tried something new, right? And this reaction has been, now you've had this reaction that's been already been stereotyped, and then you have already had the capacity to react to it. So when something new happens, It's like, damn, what the fuck is that? So now the mind takes that in and figures out a way to stereotype it. And what she says, an addition of a new factor in evolution has been made possible. So now you send it back to the individuality, because she's gonna say what's personality today will be individuality tomorrow. Individuality and personality then refer to the stages of development and have a historical significance. They refer to time, not to form. They that which is the personality today will be a part of the individuality tomorrow. This is still going into what we're saying. What seems new and scary to us today will be a part of our history tomorrow. Will be just be a part of us tomorrow. So these new things that are coming in with any type of technology, or these, or you got whatever the fuck the case is going on with political shit, or what's going on with the earth shit that's shaking up the ground, and you know what I'm saying? Mad love and respect to people out there who are still trying to survive through this experience. I want to send some love and light and gratitude to y'all. Wish y'all send y'all power, love, and some energy, because you need that love and that energy at this type of time. If you losing your home to these fires or whatever's going on out there, because like I can only imagine. I haven't had that experience, so I can only imagine. You know what I'm saying? The uncertainty and doubt that you can have in these times. And I'm not here to pump no conspiracy of, oh, they really, I don't fucking know. All I know is to send love to those people who's going through that shit. I don't fucking know about none of that shit. It could be something else. It may not be something else. It may be China trying to start a war. I don't fucking know. I can't speak on that. But what can I can speak on is that I know there's people actually losing and going through shit. So love, gratitude, and strength, and I know it may be hard to see now, but that obstacle is going to turn into some form of an opportunity for your life. It has to. It has to, and that's just that on that. So whatever may be going on around the world, all these extremities that are happening are showing you that something's getting pushed. And another thing that Terrence McKenna said, he said when he was on the shrooms spoke to him like, yeah, this is what's going to happen. Like when a race is going for the stars, is going into a whole nother dimension. He said it's not like a smooth ride of like, okay, hey, everybody get on, let's go. And like, no, this shit turns into a fucking madhouse. This shit turns tyrannical. This shit gets bad. This shit gets fucked up. It gets a lot of extremes going on. Extreme sexuality, extreme identification with sexuality, extreme identification with Donald Trump, extreme identification with money, extreme identification with whatever the fuck. That's letting you know. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to the occultist is here to peep the patterns. We're not here to be afraid. Oh, AI is this and AI is that. I'm using that motherfucker. You use it anyway. You use technology anyway. Your whole life is on the internet. Everything is on the internet. Or go spill. Let's see, Cody D. I'm missing a lot of goddamn. Or the gold spill. Install a multi-billion-dollar oil rig and not forget and never put an emergency shutoff valve on the poor thing. They can make a Mark and Will movie about it. It says when the plasma hits the earth, one will have control. I'm not sure what you mean by that one, Cody. But it's multiple aspects playing out. So when you can see God in everything, what did I put on my story? The enlightened man cannot be without a clear conscience. And I'm gonna read where I got that from. And we're gonna end it with this. That was kind of like over the place, but I wanted to make certain points that Terrence McKenna made, y'all. And I ain't gonna lie, they were fucking profound about how it's getting so complex down here and how human being consciousness is gonna be able to travel through data versus, you know what I'm saying, having to be able to carry around through material things. So watch what's happening with the internet and all this. I sent Trav something on this on Instagram. Like they said they harness this, it's an egg. Fucking the egg, Akash, the Akash egg or the Hiram Margambia. I always fuck that word up. But it made me think of that. But they said they harness the power of an atom. So they have an egg, a nuclear atom in the power of something like this silicone egg that you can sit in your house and power your house for 10 years. So, and I remember in the Holy Science book, I forgot the Swami that wrote it. He's breaking down the ages and the yugas. He was like, during these certain times, you'll start seeing this happening. People get more funding in the ways of dealing with energy, transference of energy, how to use energy. So we're going into a new shift. So, and he said, instead of like everybody else saying we're going to the golden age, this guy, he wrote this in 1894, which he said was the 194th year into the Dwapar Yuga. So, and there's going to be a lot of people dealing with technology, energy, new ways to use and produce energy, consume and produce energy, and all that type shit. And just understanding that these extremities ultimately bring us back to that still point. Hold on. The humans that will evolve can be considered superhuman. Ah, hold up. Conscious superhuman. See, and that's what damn, from the Holy Science book, that's what he was talking about too. You know, we already aligned with that shit, but that's what we was talking about too, as well, as far as the alignment of those ones in this time period. People like that's in here. Oh shit, y'all talking about a movie with Will and hold on. Oh, Swimming there and John the Superhuman, for example, with Will and Purpose. See, y'all talk. I don't even know what y'all talking about. Swimming there and John the Superhuman. Y'all need to put me up on game. Bobby wasn't onto something when he talked about the X-Men, right? One thing I can say for certain is that it manifested power and psychic abilities to celebrate. Yeah, so let's not definitely like let's not forget about that, right? Oh, so Sunshine Chick said she was asking a question. See, I thought you and Trav was having a conversation. I missed out on it. But yeah, that's what it tends to get to. This whole superhuman thing. Or remember we talked about the super conscious, right? Where the unconscious, the subconscious, and the conscious mind all line up. All that, all that shit, all those different aspects of us end up lining up. So think about that. Like, who knows? Cause like I'm definitely not saying I'm for like the and I know that's not what you're saying, Sunshine Chick. I'm not for the whole lining up with getting my brain uploaded to computers and all that shit. But think about it, nigga. You ain't got to. I ain't got to, because my whole personality and the way that I talk and move is already documented on YouTube. It's already documented on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. You see what I'm saying? If we want to be quite honest. See, I got to get on what y'all were talking about. That was Swimming Air Johnson talking about the superhuman. But and like in these powers or these more psychic abilities start coming online around these times where the ascending and the descending through these yugas. Like the shit is phenomenal. The shit is actually phenomenal what we're going through. So when we're able to peep that and understand that, like people on our degree of understanding, we're not in fear. We're not worrying about what someone else is doing with over here, the Illuminati, this and this and that. They don't run shit. They run around this motherfucker and they only got a wolf ticket. This is what we're talking about, having no enemies. How could you have enemies when you're moving like this? This is from Swami Vivekananda, Gyung Yoga, right? So, damn, y'all just dropped some comments. Hold up. So, and he was talking about how God is in everything, right? You can have your wife. You certainly don't have to abandon her, but you are to see God in your wife. Give up your children. What does that mean? to turn them out of the doors as some human brutes do in every country? Certainly not. That is diabolic. It said something else, but that's diabolic. It is not religion, but see God in your children. So in everything in life, in death, in happiness, and in misery, the Lord is equally present. He's talking about Brahma, right? A Brahman, right? The whole world is full of the Lord. Open your eyes and see him. This is what Vedanta teaches. Give up the world. Check this out. Give up the world which you have conjectured, because you conjecture, well, because your conjecture was based upon a very partial experience. So you're conjecturing, you're demonizing, or you're saying the world is this and that and they doing this, and then the world is full of misery and that. You're saying that because you have a partial view. This is what we talked about at the beginning of this. On the whole screen thing is the mind of God we're talking about here. This is the mind of God here. So you're viewing it from a partial point of view. You're not viewing it from a holistic point of view when you get to talking about what they doing and what they doing. Hold up. It says, give up the world which you have conjectured. So this is what he's saying when he says give up, when the Vedantic texts talk about giving up the world. Some people think that means run off in the bushes and the trees and run away from everything. No, that's escapism. Check this out. This is what the text is actually saying. This is what Vedanta teaches. Give up the world which you have conjectured. Because your conjecture was based on a very partial experience, upon very poor reasoning, and upon your own weakness. Give it up. The world we have been thinking of so long, the world we have been clinging to so long, is a false world of our own creation. Remember, we talked about your beliefs? You create your beliefs based off of experiences. Your beliefs are based off of your experiences. So when your experiences change, your beliefs change. So if you change the way that you experience the world, your beliefs will change and the world will change around you. Remember, the map is not the territory. You can update the map. You can update the sources. Give it up. The word you have been thinking of for so long, the word you have been clinging to for so long is a false word of our own creation. Give that up. Open your eyes and see that as such, it never existed. It was hold on. It was a dream in Maya. What existed was the Lord himself, Brahman. It is he who is in the child, in the wife, and in the husband. It is he who is in the good. It is he who is in the bad. It is he who is in the sin, in the sinner. It is he who's in the Illuminati, nigga. It is he who is in the certain things I want to say because I ain't even got monetized yet. I ain't trying to fuck my channel up. He's in life and in death. A tremendous assertion indeed that I've said. Yet this is a theme which Vedanta wants to demonstrate, to teach, and to preach. This is just the opening theme, though. We avoid the dangers of life and its evil. Listen, want to avoid the dangers and the evils of life? Let's see. Everything that I just talked about at the beginning of this is how. But let's see. We avoid the dangers of life and its evil by seeing God in everything. We avoid the dangers of life and evils by seeing God in everything. You want a world with no evil? You want a world without danger? It's on you, buddy. You creating the map that you see the world. It's on your perception. So if you change your perception, my nigga, you change your reality. Instead of saying this is an obstacle or this is evil, what do we go for over here? No obstacles will apprehend you. Why? Because that obstacle is actually opportunity. So the opportunity is the O in God. Huh? Opportunity, operator. It's God I see. How could I not? Do not desire anything. Let's get into this because he talks about desire. Do not desire anything, but it's not the way that you think that he's saying. Oh, I should just be here and don't. Listen, do not desire anything. What makes us miserable? The cause of all miseries from which we suffer is desire. You desire something, and the desire is not fulfilled. The result is distress. If there is no desire, there is no suffering. But here, too, but here also, there is the danger of my being misunderstood. Check this out. So it is necessary to explain what I mean by giving up desire and becoming free from all misery. Oh, I don't see nothing in the chat. Oh, damn. Trav dropped the link to Young Yoga. I can't see it though, y'all. I mean, it's like I can't see it. I'm looking dead at it and see it. That this is what I mean. Damn. Damn. Zero piece. You caught the end, my brother. You caught the end, but it's all good. You always showing up every time anyway, so I could never be disappointed in you. Zero peace. S.O. motherfucking P. The wall. Listen. Let's be. They say be here too. There's a danger of my being misunderstood. So it is necessary to explain what I mean by giving up desire and becoming free of all misery. The walls have no desire. They never suffer. You know, walls, the wall behind me, they have no desire. They never suffer. True, but they never evolve. This chair has no desires. This chair I'm sitting in, it doesn't have desire, but and it never suffers. But it is always a chair. There is glory in happiness. There is glory in suffering. If I may say so, there's a utility in evil too. The great lesson in misery, we all know. There are hundreds of things we have done in our lives which we wish we had never done, but which at the same time have been great teachers. The things that you went through that have hurt you, that you've been through, you wish you never did, have been great teachers. As for me, I am glad I have done something good and many things bad. Glad I have done something right, and I'm glad I have committed many errors, because every one of them has been a great lesson. I, as I am now, am the resultant of all I have done. My Gnosis, no way pop, whatever you want to call me. I'm the result of everything that I have done right and wrong. But obviously, none of it came out to be wrong, because you get what I'm saying. It came out to be wrong because it brought me to the point that I am now. All I have thought, every action and thought, have had their effect. And these effects are the sum total of my progress. These effects are the sum total of my progress. We all understand that desires are wrong. But what is meant by giving up desires? What is meant by giving up desires? How could life go on? It would be the same suicidal advice, killing the desire and the man too. So that's not going to work, right? The solution is this. Not that you should not have property. Check this out. This is what I'm saying. This is why I'm going back to people. Oh, this material, this we ain't got to do all that. Like, I'm not gonna be no poor righteous teacher. Like, you shouldn't make people feel bad for acquiring things in life. What's fucked up is when people over attach to it and people identify with the house, the car, the status, or whatever that shit is. That shit don't mean much to me. What means much to me is that I can be able to give information that helps change people's life, that I can help be that person that makes people feel understood, that I can relate to people and help them get out of their own motherfucking way, because I was in my own motherfucking way, and me helping other people helps me. Did you know that when you help other people, you helping yourself? When you helping other people, you helping God, and when you helping yourself, you helping God. The solution is this: not that you should not have property, not that you should not have things which are necessary, and even things which are luxury. We have, hold up, even things which are luxuries. Have all that you want and more. Only know the truth about the property, that it does not belong to anybody. Have no idea of proprietorship, possession. You are not anybody, nor am I anybody, nor is anyone else. All belong to Brahman. The opening verse of the Isa Upanishads tells us to cover everything with Brahman. God is the wealth that you enjoy. Check this out. He is in the desire that rises in your mind. So the desire is God too. He is in the things that you buy to satisfy your desire. He is in your beautiful attire, in your beautiful ornaments. This is the line of thought. All will be metamorphosized as soon as you begin to see these things in that light. If you put God in your very every movement, in your conversation, in your form, and everything, the whole scene will change, and the world, instead of appearing as one of war and misery, will become heaven. That's the great Swami Vivekananda and Gyung Yoga. This is what we're talking about here, man. This is what we're talking about here, man. This is why we went over deletion, distortion, and organization or categorization. This is why we went over values and purpose, right? This is why we went over purpose and intent. This is why we had to understand and look at the tree of life as the mind of God, because that's the same way your mind functions. This is why we went over resistance, Brahman, and everything. This is why we went over this, man. When you see Brahman and everything, what's the so when you having that inner resistance, you know there's just a Gibra aspect of yourself. You see what I'm saying? And you got to figure out to play the part and understand the part that it's trying to play. This is how to develop spiritual intelligence. You have to have the realization that God is in everything, that Brahman is everything, Shiva's in everything, Purusha is everything, Osiris is in everything, Isis is in everything, Oshun, Ogun is in everything, Lilith is in everything. But it's just the one appearing in many forms. That's the illusion. There is only awareness. There is only awareness. We don't experience reality directly. Everything that we experience, every time you had to break down an experience you had, it's a subjective experience. It's subjective. You don't experience things directly. Your limbs and the things that have the capacity to touch and hear and feel, they experience it. And then it gets back to your manas and your chitta and your ahamkara, and it identifies it. Then we spit it back out with a subjective way of explaining what we experience. Truly, because God is every aspect and the non aspects too. A beautiful way to understand desires. Facts. Kind of like Colossians 3:23, chapter 3, verse 23. The verse reads, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters." Like we say, we got to understand that book still has the gems in it, because we know where a lot of that shit comes from. But nonetheless, this is what we talking about, man. This is what we talking about. When we get to understanding how our mind works, personal mind, what works for us, what works for us. Because like I had created a sigil off of, I've been doing some techniques, so I created a sigil off of my second house. So I remember Dion Fortune talking about, like, in the mystical Kabbalah, about like a man understanding his charts, understanding his astrology and all this and that, and you can use that chart to actually balance out the elementals in your life. So I had created, so like, if y'all seen my video I did with my homegirl who did the astrology, I told you I had created a chart based off the tree of life and based off of certain aspects in my life that I wanted to balance. So it was dealing with my second house. If you know about astrology, you know better than me what the second house is. And I have four of the main energies in my second house dealing with Gibra, Hased, Had, and Netzach. Right, so I got those four energies in my second house, and then I have the Tifereth, or my sun, in my 12th house in my subconscious mind. So I created a sigil off of that, and then I do a lot of like vision magic with that, right? So I bring myself. I have a vision. Telling y'all, you have to hit me up for this one, but like I bring myself into like that sigil becomes like the gateway entrance. Like I can't even get. I have to get into the right state and have the right state and the right energy to put, so say, dealing with more of the emotions. I won't even allow myself to go into this vision that I'm creating, that I'm bringing into reality. I can't even envision it without going through that sigil, and that sigil will not let me in until I'm in a certain state. I've trained myself to be able to do that. So when I enter into that state, oh my God, going into this fucking vision is powerful. But also, remember we talked about living with intent, lining up with the purpose. So I lined all that up, my purpose, my values, my intents, and my goals lined up with that vision, and they also line up with that sigil that I created. It's multi fucking layered with this shit. Woo! So how the fuck did I bring that up? Fucking forgot. Earlier you said the speed of thought is faster than the speed of light. Imagine how fast that has to be to go through sensation, manas, cheetahs, car, memories, likes and dislikes, ego, sexual all day long. Damn. See, think about that. The speed of the thought in the mind, how you, damn, all day long. Imagine how much energy that uses. Fuck. Think about how much energy that uses to run through all these aspects. Hold up. I'm missing. Oh, imagine how much energy that takes to run through all these aspects. And oh, even worse, imagine you don't even know this shit is going on. Even fun, or even worse or better. For some people, it may be better to not even know all that shit is going on, because it may just overcomplicate things for them. But just imagine that shit, bro. Imagine that life. Damn, through the manas, the cheetahs, the ahamkara, the mahabudi, the mahabudi, the memories, the likes, the dislikes, the ego, all day long. It says, Zero says, Shiva means that which is not, and that in that effectively is a great way to say Shiva is everything. It is the true state of nature and oneself. That's it. That's it. Yo, Luminary, my guy. Peace, peace, peace. What an experience with a decision, my nose so powerful. Yeah, like that shit, bro. Yeah. So that shit is magic, and I'm fucking loving that. I'm fucking loving that because, and then obviously you play it out with actions in life. So I let that sit. Like anytime I get like, anytime any type of resistance may pop up, I bring that sigil into place. Boom. And I'm not bullshitting. At the very moment, so I don't pull that sigil up just at any fucking time. Empress Divine, peace, peace, peace. Appreciate you for tapping in. We about to get up out of here, but I wish you would have caught the beginning. Maybe you can run it back. But anytime I tap into that sigil I created, I make sure it's at a specific time when I need it, right? Anytime I tap into it, that motherfucker is like a thrush, like an instant rush, not an over rush, but like an instant rush of that energy that I need. I'm not trying to be too specific, but that energy that I need, it just pops up and it's like boom. So, but that comes from working with it inside the astral or the etheric plane, because it becomes something once you feed into a pattern, the energy into it, right? Or that mental energy, that mental power into it, right? So that motherfucker has been working magic for like the past 2 weeks, and line that shit up with the goal, and line that shit up with the purpose. Remember, the purpose, the goal is not the purpose. The goal is the vehicle to get you to fulfill your values and purpose. We don't use the goal as the fucking thing. The goal is a vehicle. The goal is a Chevy truck that's getting you to fulfill your goal. Like I used earlier, like if the goal is, you know what I'm saying, unconditional love with a family in unity or community, the goal is to get 100 acres. That's the vehicle. You get that 100 acres, and that's that, and then that can bring you into communion with a community, so your family and your community can live on it. But the goal is not the purpose. The land is not community. The land is how the community will be there. So we got to understand our goals are different from the purpose and the values, because we automatically hone in. We are the source of our values and our purpose. We are the source of God. We are the source of how we see our reality. You see what I'm saying here? How it all goes in? It's all the same shit. We are that source. So when we get depressed, we get low self-confidence, we get low self-esteem when we're not aligned with our values. The shit that we hold near and dear to our heart, the shit that we know who we believe that we truly are, we're not aligned with it. So we get depressed. And you create these values. You are the source of your values. God is the source. You are the source, my niggas and my beautiful women. Illuminati said his sigil is my sigil potent. It's my signature. See that what I'm talking about? Only just came across my feed with playback, looking for the intellectual soul feed and shit. That's love. That's the love divine empress or empress divine. Said your name backwards. I'm a little dyslexic. Not really. But appreciate you for tapping in. Appreciate you for coming through, tapping in. Hopefully you can find something useful and appropriate over here. Make me zero says make me to think, and some things that I can be working on my notes. Thank you. No, facts. Like, yeah, that's it right there. Like God, a God creating the energy. So we creating energy, we creating our perception. It means we creating our reality. Since we understand how to structure up our reality and get in alignment with our reality that we want to create, we can see what Vivekananda just said, the same thing. Heaven is all around you. God is all around you. Brahman is all around you. So you deserve to get the things. Rain, water, peace. Everybody catching it at the last minute. I probably should have went live way later. Everything comes from source, which is ourselves. That's why we need to tap in. Reverence. Hold up, did it freeze? Reverence ourselves, not a God outside of ourselves. Facts. See, that's the thing, because we like to place as humans, we like to place a lot of the power outside of ourselves. You see what I'm saying? Which makes us feel, if you look at it in the mental, in a mind state, like that makes you feel it's something you really can't even obtain. You see what I'm saying? And people like to put that little trick over themselves. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, man, but I, if God, if God willing, or you know what I'm saying? Hopefully, like, it's out of my control. I mean, certain things are, but you get what I'm saying. Like, if you looking for the source of your values, your source of your purpose, it's not out here. It's in here. You got to do that by getting your values written down. I went through a value elicitation before. I went through a value elicitation before, and I've also helped somebody else go through a value elicitation. A nice session that we had, and it was a breakthrough for that person, because then when I did it for myself, it was a breakthrough for me. This is a powerful shit. So if you're just tuning in, I'm about to get up out of here because the nigga want to go eat something. You dig? That snow out there and ain't that bad no more. So we'll see what I'm about to get into though. But I always appreciate y'all showing up. Appreciate y'all always showing up. No obstacles will apprehend you, as always. Why? Why would no obstacles apprehend you? Because the obstacles are actually opportunities. Because why? We see us as the source, and we would not put anything in our way that would destroy us, only build us. So those obstacles are opportunities. No obstacles will apprehend you. prosper over pain, principles over paper. S.O.P. Remember, stand on principle. Remember, that's standard operating procedure. Remember, stand on purpose. And that's cosmic P. Peace. Oh shit, I'm getting Damn, Trav, what? Shit, I'd have missed something now. Standing on principle. The real life is in the subconscious. Gotta bring that subconscious to the conscious. There we go. Bring that unconscious to the subconscious and that subconscious to the conscious. And you have super conscious. Yeah, super conscious. Appreciate everybody at S.O. motherfucking P, dog. S.O. motherfucking P. Shout out to Trav. Hey, Trav, you doing the we doing Mystical Kabbalah? We doing Mystical Kabbalah tomorrow? Yeah, the values elicitation. Yeah, I gotta holler at you. So if y'all haven't been here before, you haven't heard me talk about Travis Major's elemental spiritual authority course, very transformative, very, 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 very transformative. Trav, are you doing the classes now? Have you started the next batch of the class? Drop my cash app. I do need to put my cash app in here. I ain't never dropped the cash app in here. Let's see. Saying Chosen 134. I think that's my cash app right there. And any donation is greatly appreciated. It wouldn't matter if it was 50 cents, nigga. I can do something with 50 cents. I grew up buying, I can be able to get 2 bags of chips for 50 cents and survive off of that, baby. We can do it, baby. But anything, any, you know what I'm saying? Any donation is definitely, absolutely appreciated. I'm always grateful for y'all just showing up here. I already do it for a nigga, bro. Can't even lie to you. But everybody wanted to send some donations, you know, because we do this out of love. We doing this out of straight honor for ourselves, and hopefully that we can give it to someone else, that it benefits someone else. Wayne M says, take care. Magic Marcel says, S.O.P. S.O.P. Y'all remember me? Let's sit this up there. Can we do that? Oh, Trav got an elemental live stream tonight. Oh shit. It's up. So you know where you'll see the eye when Trav get his thing going. You'll see the eye over there in the comments, just as well as he shows up in these comments over here, showing love and support. Luminary, appreciate the cash out. Appreciate the cash out, bro. That's love and respect. Appreciate the cash out. Sunshine, appreciate the cat. Oh, that's love right there. 717. Appreciate it. I didn't mean to put his business out there, but that's love though. I had to speak to that. That's that number right there. That's 717. I appreciate the hell out of y'all, bro. Y'all just warmed the nigga heart up right there with that one. You know, that's what you know me looking for, but at the same time, when it do come through, like, how could I not be grateful? I appreciate the fuck out of y'all. Appreciate the hell out of y'all, man. So there go the cash app right there, sitting up there, y'all. Chosen 134. Y'all see that? Block. Somebody named Block. I ain't seen nobody on here named Block. Block 23. Appreciate the cash out. Appreciate the cash out. God damn it. Should I leave? God damn it. Should a nigga leave? Yeah, it may not make sense to leave, nigga. T. Oh, this I ain't seen no T. See, I'm pretty sure everybody's name don't line up with their YouTube name, but appreciate the cash app, y'all. I just got another one. Appreciate it. Child, how to get into the live. Oh, you just go to his YouTube, you know. Make sure you got that notification bell set up for his YouTube so you can get that live notification. And if you just now found my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button too, Empress Divine, and hit that notification bell as well for when we go live. So yeah, go to Trap page, hit the subscribe and notification bell. Sometimes it don't pop up. So, you know, just if you on Cash App, if you on Cash App, if you on YouTube like me, how I be on there, just be checking. Because sometimes it will not give us the notification, and that kind of pisses me off sometimes. But Yeah, we'll be over there. Appreciate y'all for dropping all them SOPs in the chat. Appreciate you, Trav, for the cash app, dog. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody sending them cash apps over. God damn. I didn't know it was possible. I didn't think we would get here one day. Well, nigga would cash app me on YouTube. I appreciate y'all. I gotta drink the rest of my green juice now. No, I'm really trying to cover it up, y'all. I don't even know how y'all got a nigga emotional and shit. I'm a street nigga, like nigga. I don't get emotional. So, but we know that's fake, right? But I really appreciate the fuck out of y'all. So tonight, make sure everybody who's here bring y'all black, white, pink, green, or yellow ass over to Travis Majors. He's doing a live tonight. More and more. Oh yeah. Facts. Money cometh, love cometh, gratitude cometh. I give gratitude and receive gratitude. Everything around me evolves. All my elementals are winners. No obstacles will apprehend us. We prosper over pain. All the opportunities, they're all opportunities which were at first we thought were obstacles. They are not. Everything around me is God. As I evolve, God evolves. And we prosper over pain. And we standing on principle over paper, and also that standard operating procedure. And remember, we stand on principle always. Cosmic P pushes is always peace. Love y'all, man. Thank y'all for real. Oh, we got the outro. We got the outro.